Multiplying decimals. When we're looking to multiply sums that involve decimals, the first thing that we want to look at is just the numbers themselves. So ignoring the decimal places in each of these questions, we'll notice that we have a 5 in the first number and we have a 7 in the second number. So we ignore all the decimals to begin with and do 5 times 7 to get 35. Basically, with the decimal places that you see around, that number 3 and that number 5 are going to be placed in a certain way, but no other digits will exist other than zeros. You're going to have a 3 and a 5 and nothing else. How we figure out where the decimal place goes, so for example, is it 3.5, is it 0.35? Both of these, of course, involve the same digits, just different place values. How we establish which of those answers we're going to get for each of them, or any of the others that are possible, is by counting the number of decimal places that exist. So in the first question, if we look at 0.5 and 0.7, we have one decimal place here and a second decimal place there. What that means is that our answer will have two decimal places. What we then do is take this number 35 and fit it into here, starting with the furthest right digit. So the 5 goes here and the 3 goes there. Of course, we have nothing before the decimal point, so I would put in a 0, and that gives us 0.35. For the second question, we have 3 decimal places in the first number, 2 decimal places in the second number. What that tells us is that our answer is going to have 5 decimal places. Again, we fit the 3 and the 5 in at the right-hand side at the very end, so our 3 and a 5 would go like so, and we use zeros to fill in the blanks. We're going to have 3 zeros after the decimal place, and we'd have one more going before, giving us 0.00035. And lastly, same goes with the last one. We count the number of decimal places that exist in the question. 5 there, 4 here, and that means that our final answer is going to have 9 decimal places. 8, 9, have I counted that? Yep, 9 decimal places. We fit the 5 and the 3 in, and then fill in the blanks with zeros, giving us 0.7 zeros followed by a 35 as our answer for that. A couple more examples. Same idea here. Every single one of these questions involves the same digits being multiplied together. If we ignore the digits, so if we ignore the decimal places, every one of these sums involves a 12 times 85. So the first thing I want to do is get the answer to that sum, 12 times 85. I'm going to break the 12 up into 10 and 2. I'm going to break the 85 up into 80 and 5. I'm going to multiply these together. 80 times 10 will give us 800. 5 times 10 will give us 50. 80 times 2 will give us 160. And 5 times 2 will give us 10. We then add these numbers together to get our total for that sum. 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 1 is 12, to carry the 1. 8 plus 1 plus 1 gives us 10. So 1020 is our answer to 12 times 85. So the digits 1020 are going to get fitted into each of the answers for these questions because all of them involve a 1 and a 2 times an 8 and a 5, or in other words, 12 times 85. All we have to do now is count the number of decimal places in each answer and fit them in. 2 decimal places in the first answer, giving us 2 decimal places in our answer. We then fit this in. We have a 0 at the end, then a 2, then a 0, then a 1. So 10.20 is the answer to that question. Of course, we could also write that as 10.2. Sometimes our answer to this sum will give us a 0 at the end, and so we'll have a 0 at the end of our decimal place here. That's fine. We could leave it like that. Of course, this would be the more simplified answer, but either is okay as long as we can actually do the multiplication correctly here and then show that we understand place value and put in the right number of decimal places. We're okay. Second question, 2 decimal places and another 2 here gives us 4 decimal places in our answer, and that 1020 is going to fit in nicely there with an extra 0 at the front. And lastly, 4 decimal places in the first number, 5 decimal places in the second number, giving us a grand total of 9 decimal places in our answer. The 1020 will fit in at the end, and then we have 5 zeros after the decimal point and 1 0 before the decimal point, giving us our final answer there. Done.